Hey guys, it's Ben, coach of the Baltimore Oriolus, here with another NPL Tryout Tournament pool play game. We're taking on Bepsis, hands down the best player in the pool and one of the best in the tournament as a whole. Interestingly enough, this game is going to be UBC Season 5 champion versus UBC Season 6 champion, so that's a cool thing. His team, I feel like, well, I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like his team isn't too broken. I had built a team before, like a little while back. I mentioned that in the draft analysis video, but I've been thinking about it, and I can't just bring standard sets and expect to win against a good player. It might work against they might work against like an average player, but against a good player, the only way I can win is through prep. So I kind of had to start the team from scratch, and this is what we've got. So Bepsis' team consists of Tapu Koko, Gliscor, Ferrothorn, Kyurem, Tentacruel, Incineroar, Lickilicky, Uxie, Heracross, Alolan Raichu, and Mega Pidgeot. So right off the bat, I don't think Kyurem's coming. It has a really bad matchup. You know, I've got Mega Gardevoir, I have Terrakion, both those outspeeded. I have Snorlax, which basically walls it and sets up in front of it. It's nice for Gligar, that's about it. What else do I even have on my team? Umbreon probably walls it, because it's just so bulky. Yeah, I just don't see how he can bring Kyurem in this game. I don't expect the Pidgeot because I do have, like, again, a number of special tanks, you know, Goodra, Umbreon, Lantern, resist the Hurricane and the Heat Wave. But Pidgeot is possible. Something like Alolan Raichu is possible. I'm not really expecting it, because, again, special tanks and stuff. But in terms of Mons I expect him to bring, it's going to be 6 out of these 7. Tapu Koko, Gliscor, Ferrothorn, Tentacruel, Incineroar, Lickilicky, and Heracross. I don't really expect the Uxie, but it's still a viable bring in this matchup. For sure he's bringing Ferrothorn so he can Spike Stack. For sure Tentacruel so he can set T-Spikes. And absolutely for sure Heracross because that thing is a huge threat to my team. Like, it really just breaks through all my defensive Mons, and I don't have an easy switch into it. I do have a Celesteela, and I do have a Gligar. But I think that those are pretty easy for him to play around. He can just, like, knock off on the switch, he can knock off Gligar's Eviolite, he can knock off whatever Celesteela's item is, and Celesteela really needs its item for it to be the most effective, of course. So, Heracross is a huge threat, and I'm very scared of it. So, let's hop right into the team. First up, we've got Mega Gardevoir here. This Gardevoir set, I thought it was supposed to take an Adamant Flare Blitz from an Incineroar after Rocks, but I just calced it again, and it looks like it's just Jolly Incineroar, so that's annoying. But yeah, this set does have enough bulk to take a Jolly Incineroar's Flare Blitz. Like, if it's Scarf, or something annoying like that, I can still take an Adamant Flare Blitz from full, but just not after Rocks. That's a roll after Rocks, but yeah, we have enough speed to outspeed and max speed Heracross, and the rest of the special attack for just really good damage, because Mega Gardevoir +1 really ripped through his team. The Ferrothorn isn't Aqua Berry, it drops, like, almost all the time, unless he's, like, fully Spadef, in which case it's a roll. Hypervoice and Psyshock just one-shot like everything else. I just need to pick up the outspeeds. I need to get rid of the Koko. Like, Raichu and Pidgeot are annoying, but if I can get up, like, the Calm Mind, I have the special defense boost, so Gardevoir is going to be really hard for him to, well, it's not hard to break, but it's going to be hard for him to play around if I play with Gardevoir correctly. Next up we have Terrakion. This Terrakion has enough special defense to take a timid max special attack Tapu Koko's Dazzling Gleam after I set up a sub. So here's the idea with this set. His dedicated switch into Terrakion is probably going to be either Gliscor or Uxie. Probably Gliscor, because I don't really expect Uxie, but Gliscor is very viable in this matchup. So if he goes into Gliscor on Terrakion, I set up Swords Dance on the switch. Then I outspeed, set up a sub, and depending on what he wants to go for, like if he's scouting for a Z move, he could protect. If he isn't scouting for Z move, maybe he would just go straight for the Earthquake, maybe he would set Rocks. Sub is probably my safest play there, just so, again, I can scout to see if he's scouting. And if he goes for a Protect that turn, cool. I'm sitting at +2 with the sub up. I can go for the Continental Crush on the next turn, or I can predict a switch. If it would be kind of risky, but if I were to expect him to go straight into Ferrothorn to scout for the Continental Crush, I can just go straight for a close combat on the switch. If fact, that's high risk, high reward. We'll see if that happens in the matchup. Or in the actual game. I really hope it doesn't happen, but just in case, it's an idea, something to think about. Yeah. So again, the idea is that let's say I killed Gliscor. I would be at like 75 after the sub. So then he sends in Tapu Koko to revenge kill. I have enough special defense to take the Dazzling Gleam or a Grass Knot, because he could very well have Z Grass Knot for the Lantern. Enough special defense to take that hit and then just go for a Stone Edge and pop the Koko. I don't expect him to risk that, because realistically, he would think that Gleam might be a roll if he's not like a boosting item. So, but just in case, that is a thing that Terrakion can do. And I should mention, Terrakion and Gardevoir have enough speed to outspeed max speed Heracross, not a Kyurem, because like I said, there's no way he brings Kyurem. And if he does, that's just even better for me. So yeah, next mon here is Gligar. This is a very interesting set. At first I had like, you know, standard Eviolite Gligar, you know, Defog, U-turn. I think I did still have Aerial Ace and Earthquake. I think this was the same moveset. No, I had Roost on there, I'm sure, instead of one of those moves, but I think I need to bring Scarf, and here's why. Alright, so this Gligar outspeeds, it safely outspeeds a Koko creeping a max speed Salazzle. So, like I said, Vepsis is a very good player, and every good player in their right mind will speed creep the next fastest Pokemon with their Pokemon. So, he's absolutely running 367 on his Tapu Koko to outspeed max speed Salazzle. He might slap a few more EVs in there just to be safe, like to maybe creep my creep of his creep, like I'm doing here. So I do have a few extra EVs on Gligar to safely outspeed a Koko outspeeding Salazzle. Like, I think he would hit 367. I believe I'm hitting 372, so it's a few extra EVs. Just trying to play it safely. And I also have enough speed to outspeed a max speed Scarf Incineroar as well. I believe that hits 240. It has Xyz at 248. And I have Hyper Cutter just so Incineroar's Intimidate isn't annoying, because I feel like Immunity isn't really too necessary, and also he's not going to click Toxic in front of me. That just wouldn't make any sense, unless Hyper Cutter's already been revealed. And I have the Aerial Ace there, of course, to revenge kill the Heracross. That's pretty predictable, though, so I don't expect him to stay in most of the time, in which case I'll probably just U-turn out, and while I expect him to be Scarf with Heracross, if he's not Scarf, again, even better for me. I can U-turn out into... I don't know, something. Sponge on knockoff. In fact, I could go into Terrakion to get the justified boost, if he does choose to stay in, but if he switches out, then I just get momentum in my favor. I have Defog on there just for, you know, emergency hazard removal, because again, he has D-Spikes, he has Spikes, he has Rocks. Really annoying for my team with my one remover. And the rest of the EVs are thrown into HP because nowhere else to put them. Next up, we have Lantern. Another whack set. Like I said, the only way I can win this game is through prep, and this is how I'm going to do it. So I wanted to run Whirlpool instead of Ice Beam, but I realized I feel like I really need Ice Beam for this to work. So we've got Agility, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and Soak with a Rindo Berry. I have enough defense to take a Water-type, two Water-type Ferrothorn's Power Whips with some extra EVs, leftover EVs thrown into defense, you know, so I can, I don't know, I can more safely take the hits. And also, like, I had the extra EVs, and it just made the most sense to put them into defense. Enough speed to outspeed, shoot, what was that again? Lantern has enough speed to outspeed a max speed Adamant Scarf Heracross. Oh, and I'm a +2 after an agility. So here's the idea with this. So he'll probably go into Ferrothorn as his Lantern check. Ferrothorn's going to be his check to a handful of my mons. So I click Soak as he goes for maybe like a Leech Seed, maybe Spikes. I could have clicked Whirlpool, or I would probably click Whirlpool first if I did want to run that set, but since I'm not running Whirlpool, Soak, and then I Agility up. Because, like, he's going to know that, okay, he's going to go for the Thunderbolt now, I'm going to go into Gliscor. So I'm going to Agility up, I outspeed the Gliscor, and I do threaten it out with Ice Beam. This does kill most of the time. I don't remember the exact calc, but unless it's like fully Spadef, it should be able to kill most of the time. And Thunderbolt, again, I can just soak a lot of his mons. I outspeed basically everything. I soak stuff, Thunderbolt it, it takes a lot of damage, and even if I'm not killing stuff, I'm putting them in range of mons like Gardevoir, Terrakion, my cleaners. So this Lantern set isn't designed to win, it's designed to start breaking. Of course, Volt Absorb to wall the Tapu Koko, essentially, because he's probably bringing Bloom Doom, maybe Toxic on the Koko for Lantern, maybe just Stall Breaker. So, yeah, this Lantern's a really nice bringing this matchup, because, again, Koko. Next up, we have Snorlax. Snorlax, I don't want anything on my team to be Heracross fodder, so Snorlax is no different. This is, again, a wacky set. I have enough physical defense to take an Adamant Heracross's close combat, and then I set up a Reflect to either take a second close combat on the following turn, or to take a +2 close combat if you wanted to set up a Swords Dance on the previous turn. I think that would only take me down to like half as well, and then Fire Punch is going to be doing really good damage to him, and he probably won't be able to take very many more hits after that. So assuming he is Choice Scarf, I should be able to take 2 hits for sure, because I pop the Chople Berry, then I set up the Reflect, and if he's at -2, Fire Punch should kill him for sure. And I do have Fire Punch there over return to hit the Ferrothorn, Earthquake to hit the Tentacruel, Ice Punch to hit the Gliscor. It's really just to break his nasty defensive core, because it's really annoying and stupid. The leftover EVs are thrown to attack, because I didn't really need them anywhere else, and I just really need the extra damage output. And lastly, we do have the Goodra here. Goodra has enough defense to take a Jolly Heracross's close combat or a Mega Horn after rocks and 3 layers of spikes. I can't take one at +2, I can't take there are a handful of Heracross hits I can't take, so I wasn't really sure what I should train Goodra to live. So I decided just to have it take a hit after rocks and spikes, since again, he has those hazards. If he gets them up, that could be really annoying. I do have Defog on Gligar, but that's not very reliable, especially since it is Choice Scarf. And I have enough special attack to guarantee to Oko max speed up Gliscor with Ice Beam. And I have the 8 speed there to outspeed a max speed Heracross after the Gooey drop, because I am running Gooey on Goodra, not Sap Sipper, because again, Vepsis is not going to click like Leech Seed on Goodra. He's not going to risk giving me attack, especially once he finds out that I have Earthquake. Like, the idea is, I send in Goodra on, like, Gliscor, he knows I've got Ice Beam, he's gonna go into Tentacruel, I Earthquake on the switch, I do a ton of damage to him, I bluff being fully physically offensive because of the extra belt, then maybe he will switch back into Gliscor, I click Ice Beam on the switch. Basically, I gotta get into his head, and if I can do that, Goodra should work pretty well. Also got Focus Blast there to pressure the Licky, because that's gonna be doing really good damage there. And I wanted to run 8 attack on Goodra because that would allow me to 2-hit KO his Tapu Koko 99.5% of the time with Earthquake against a Shuka Berry set if he has 104 HP, which is the set I expect him to run, 104 HP, and max special attack, enough speed to outspeed max speed Salazzle. So if he has 104 HP and he Shuka Berry, Earthquake on this set I have right now kills 98.2% of the time, or 2-hit KOs 98.2% of the time, whereas if I had 8 attack EVs, it would kill 99.5% of the time. But I really need those EVs where they are right now, so the extra, 1.3% probably won't make a big difference. I certainly hope it doesn't. So that is the plan with this team. Like I mentioned before, in the draft analysis video, I did mention that I had a team built, but I did have to start again from scratch because, like I said, I realized that the only way I can win this game is through prep, because Vepsis is like way too good. So yeah, that's the team. We got set up Gardevoir. I can take the hits from Incineroar, well, the one hit from Incineroar. I just gotta pop the Ferrothorn's Aqua Berry before I can really start to put in work, and paired with Goodra's Gooey ability, if I die to a physical hit like Heracross, Gardevoir just comes in and revenge kills. Again, really pressures the team. He doesn't have an easy switch in aside from Ferrothorn, and again, if I can just pop that Aqua Berry, I can set up a Calm Mind, Gardevoir just goes ham. Terrakion really pressures the Gliscor, very annoying Mon. I pressure like all the other Mons in his core. I also pressure the Licky, of course, which is why I feel like I need to bring my fighting types with Licky, so annoying. Kinda considered running Earthquake over Close Combat, but I think Close Combat's still the call. Again, Lantern, he's probably going to be afraid to click an electric move in front of me because, I can just go straight into Lantern. He's probably just going to U-turn out on most of my Mons, or just click Toxic or Taunt or something like that. Gligar, again, for those outspeeds, and also it really just catches him off guard. Like, he's not going to expect a Scarf Earthquake against a Coco with my Gligar. He would think that I would like want to switch out to, or maybe go into Lantern, maybe go into Snorlax to take a hit. He probably wouldn't expect me to. Well, he might expect to stay in an Earthquake, like he would U-turn out or something. But I would just be able to outspeed before he could U-turn out and get off huge damage. I believe it's a roll to kill if he has the investment I'm expecting. I think it's 50-50 roll if I remember correctly. So I'm going to have to get a little bit of chip on him first, and I also want to make sure that my Scarf isn't revealed just yet. And yeah, that should sum up everything. Initially, I wanted to bring some, you know, more standard sets. Like, I was thinking, you know, Curse to attack Snorlax. I was thinking a bunch of ordinary sets, but I realized those really aren't going to work here, so thanks for watching the team builder. See you guys during the battle. Okay, we are back with the replay. So, as you can see, Vepsis does choose to bring the Heracross Uxie. Uxie's a bit surprising, but it's certainly viable in the matchup, so I can understand the bring. Gliscor, Incineroar, Tapu Koko, and Kyurem. So, I heavily under-prepped for Kyurem, because I just did not expect to bring it against a team with, like, you know, 2 bulky waters, a Snorlax, 2 easy revenge killers in Mega Gardevoir and Terrakion, and a Dragon type that can take most Ice Beams. Maybe not from Kyurem, but I was pretty surprised to see that he actually brought it. So I was feeling very under-prepped for it, and I was just going to try my best to play around it with what I had. Also, I should mention that I probably already had this show up on screen before, but I did have to change Snorlax's ability to Gluttony instead of Thick Fat, because it only can get Reflect from Gen 1, something like that. In hindsight, I feel like the Snorlax set wasn't the best, but it was decent in case it was like, in case the Heracross wanted to like set up in front of Snorlax if he didn't know what my set was or anything like that. But let's just hop right into the replay. I am going to lead with the Goodra as he leads the Uxie. I led Goodra thinking he would probably lead Gliscor because I do have the Gligar on my roster. He might think I want to lead that to get up rocks. So I do have Goodra in against Uxie. Goodra can't really touch Uxie, so I'm just going to go for an Ice Beam to scout his set, as he's going to knock off my Expert Belt, which is very sad. It's also going to be revealed that I am Gooey and not Sap Sipper, but he doesn't bring the Ferrothorn, so that's not really a huge deal. So now, Uxie can do a number of different things. Of course, it's a rocker. I just knocked off my Expert Belt, so he knows that I probably can't do much to Uxie, so with that in mind, he could just knock off again on a switch, or he could Thunder Wave on a switch. I figured that Thunder Wave is probably the least likely play here, so I'm just going to go straight into Gardevoir, just to see if he wants to go for another knockoff predicting a switch, but he's just going to set rocks. Now I'm going to predict the Thunder Wave, and I'm going to pull switch into Lantern, as he does reveal the Iron Tail. So, the fact that he is so uber specially defensive, and the fact that he's got Iron Tail, this tells me that it's his dedicated Gardevoir check. So I got to keep that in mind. So now I have Lantern in against the Uxie, and here I make a brain fart. So I was looking at it, right? Even like relaxed nature Uxie, or it would be sassy in this case, but minus speed Uxie hits like 203 and I'm 202 speed, so I'm like, okay, cool. I underspeed this thing, he can go for a U-turn, I can soak whatever wants to come in, or if he wants to stay in, I can soak it and then go for an agility on the Gliscor switch. But I forgot there was a speed drop. So I'm just going to soak him and he's going to U-turn out. So that was really stupid. Now we get the free switch into Heracross. So now I'm going to go hard Terrakion on a Heracross. And it worked. And I got the justified boost. So yeah, of course the reason I did that is because if you have a Heracross on the field and there's a Gligar on the opposing team, Gligar is the dedicated switch and you click knockoff or Swords Dance. So yeah, he goes for a knockoff, as expected. So I'm just going to go straight into Terrakion and get the attack boost. So now he's in a bit of a tough spot. I can just go straight for a Continental Crush. I believe it does like 70-ish, maybe like 70 to 80 to the Gliscor on the Switch. But if he can play around it correctly, like if he protects and I like miss a Stone Edge or something along those lines, I don't want to potentially lose Terrakion to like some bad hacks or some misses or anything like that. So for one, I know he has to switch out. He absolutely has to save Heracross because I still have Snorlax. I still have a lot of things that Heracross can break. So I thought about going for a hard Swords Dance, but I figured Substitute just made the most sense, as he is going to go into the Gliscor. So now I'm going to scout for Protect and just go straight for a Swords Dance. But of course, I think he knew that I was going to scout for the Protect, and now he knows that I have to go for the Z move, and he protects on my Z move. It's very well played here by Vepsis. I expect nothing less. I am going to get off some decent damage, not much, because, you know, I'm still +3, and Stone Edge is going to be able to finish off the Gliscor. I did calc that, even if it was max HP, max defense, that there was no roll that killed anyway, so, right, so that just happened. He went into Koko to Revenge. I didn't really have an easy switch in, so I did choose to just sack Terrakion there. It would be nice for some other mons later, but the fact that he still has, like, a healthy Uxie, and, you know, he has a couple mons that outspeed it, well, just Koko and potentially, like, another Scarfer, so did choose to sack Terrakion, because, again, I don't really have a switch in. Now I'm going to go straight into Lantern. Do I just go for a Soak here, or do I go for a... what did I actually do here? Hold up. Oh, I doubled into Goodra. Probably scouting. As he's going to go for the U-turn. Okay. I guess I was scouting for Bloom Doom. Yeah, he's going to get a free switch into Heracross now. I'm going to sack Goodra, get the Gooey drop, and that gives me the free switch into Gardevoir. That's kind of what I was planning from the start, except that, you know, he can just switch out and preserve his Heracross, and he can just bring it in again later against something like Snorlax or Lantern and just force another kill. So I'm going to go for a Calm Mind on the switch, because I know I can take an Iron Tail from this, and Hyper Voice is a 2-hit KO to max HP, max Spadef Uxie. So everything's going according to plan here. I'm going to go for another Hyper Voice here, and Uxie is going to drop. But now that I am getting chipped down pretty fast, I know I should probably save Gardevoir, because, again, I need this thing as my Heracross check, and also, I'm running low on answers to Kyurem. Not that I had very many in the first place, but I have, like, what, Gligar that might outspeed it if he's not Scarf. I have Gardevoir that might not outspeed it if he's not Scarf, but Gardevoir would scare him out if he's not Scarf. Snorlax probably takes hits from it. Lantern probably doesn't take much and doesn't do anything in return, so I run the calcs. I can live a U-turn, I can live a Thunderbolt, I can live a Dazzling Gleam, I can live whatever Koko wants to go for and just pick up another kill with Hyper Voice. But he knows that, so he must be baiting something. And also, I do need to preserve Gardevoir, because it can't really come in again on rocks if he does, like, it can't come back in on rocks against, like, the Heracross. So with that in mind, I do want to preserve the Gardevoir. And as soon as this happened, it kind of occurred to me that he doesn't know I'm hyper physically defensive, so Lantern, if I was just, like, HP invested, or, not Lantern, if I was just HP invested with Gardevoir, U-turn probably would have killed, well, he would have expected it to kill with the defense drop. It wouldn't have killed, so I would have been able to pick up a kill there. Not that it probably would have mattered in the end, as you'll see. So he's going to go to Incineroar. I don't exactly have a safe switch, so he's just going to knock off my Rindo Berry, which didn't come into play at all because I didn't bring the Ferrothorn. So now I'm just going to go hard into Snorlax because I need some chip on this thing before Gligar can do anything. He's going to knock off my Chople Berry as I'm just going to set up the Reflect. He won't be able to do jack to me now. Snorlax is really bulky. And I'm going to be able to chip him down severely. And I'm going to, you know, kill the Incineroar there. So now here's the goal. He's in with Heracross, and I have to find a way to either chip down this Heracross a little bit and chip down the Kyurem into Earthquake range, or I need to just kill this thing with an Aerial Ace from Gligar. It's not looking good. Frankly, I didn't expect to be in a good spot at this point in the game, but I mean, I'm trying my best here, guys. So yeah, he's in with the Heracross now, and he doesn't kill with Facade or Knockoff. He does kill with Close Combat, of course, so I feel like he's forced to click Close Combat, and I need to preserve Snorlax, because again, if I lose Snorlax, I can't do anything against the Kyurem. So, what I'm forced to do here is save Snorlax, and then switch into probably Gligar, because I don't expect the knockoff, because I don't see how knockoff is a play. If anything, he would click Facade. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to go into Gligar on the Facade, and that is going to do a hell of a lot of damage. So now he knows that I'm not Eviolite, so I'm going to U-turn out on the switch. I was pretty happy that I made that call correctly. Now I got to send in Gardevoir. It is at this point that I realized that was probably a mistake, so... of course, Gardevoir doesn't outspeed, speed-invested Kyurem. Of course it doesn't outspeed Scarf, so... What I should have done is I should have gone on to Snorlax, because he might be fearing Thick Fat, because, I mean, I don't think he would know that I'm Gluttony. You know, he'd be fearing Thick Fat, and he wouldn't be able to lock himself into Ice Beam, but he would also, like, not lock himself into Outrage either, because that would be really dumb. He would probably just go hard out into either Heracross or Koko. But regardless, he would have been able to preserve Kyurem, and Once Snorlax went down, he would have just been able to do this thing anyway with the Ice Beam.
There's no way he brings Kyurem. And if he does, that's just even better for me.
Though he is revealed to be, well, speed invested at the very least. But yeah, I'm going to go into Snorlax. Just going to go for the Earthquake on the Koko to chip it down a lot. And he's going to reveal the Bloom Doom here, or not Bloom Doom, Twinkle Tackle. Now it's down to Gligar. Maybe I can get some key Earthquake critical hits. That's what I'm going to go for. As he's just going to go hard out into Kyurem, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I know he wants to preserve differential, but, I mean, risking a couple crits. And he is going to reveal to be Scarf Kyurem, and that is the game. So, as expected, no match for Vepsis. Before this game, I think he was like, what, 3-0 plus 16 or something like that. So at the very least, this was probably his closest game of the pool play. So I'm proud of myself for that. I'm proud of myself for that Terrakion play on the Heracross. I felt like I played that game decently well, but with my lack of hazard control, like no, basically no setters, basically no removers, and just my team not really being as great as I thought it was at first. I think there were too many holes in it. I didn't really stand a chance. I would have had to play this game immaculately. But yeah, so we are now 0-2 in this tournament. Very unfortunate. I think there's still a chance in the theory that we can come back and still advance at 3-2 if Vepsis beats Frawls, which, I mean, he should. That'll put Frawls at 3-2, because he's 3-1 plus 6 right now. I believe Excellent Name is 2-2. So if I beat him, then that puts him at 2-3. And in theory, if I win out the rest of my games, that will put me at 3-2. Then it would just come down to differential with me and Frawls, assuming it's not head-to-head. Assuming it's differential, then head-to-head first. Or, yeah, assuming it's differential before head-to-head. So that's the only chance I stand. I'm not exactly keeping my hopes up, but I mean, I'm going to try. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.